Hi, I was recently sent down the newest additions to the Aquarian drumhead stable. That's the Force 10 tom batters, the SuperKick 10 bass drum batter, and the triple threat snare drum batter. Now these are all very thick heads, and as the name suggests, with the Force 10 and the SuperKick 10, there's something to do with 10 going on. I saw you catch that. Well, both those heads are using 2-ply 10mm laminates, so that's a total of 20mm. Normal 2-ply heads would be 2x7mm, and on the bass drum perhaps 2x7.5, depending on the mate you have. So they're much thicker than normal. And triple threat, well, that kind of gives it away. It's a 3-ply drum head, in this case 3x7mm. So again, much thicker than normal. I have to fess up at this point that I normally use single-ply heads throughout my kit. I might very occasionally use a 2-ply head on a bigger floor tom. So I was kind of intrigued by trying these out because it was going to take me out of my kind of playing comfort zone, you might say. The other thing that was cool too is that I'm using a small setup. It's a 10-inch rack tom, a 14-inch floor tom, a 13x6 snare. They're all pretty thin-shelled maple drums. The bass drum is a 20x16. The 8-inch tom, incidentally, just in case you're wondering, that's got a normal single-ply head on it. I wouldn't use a normal 2-ply, let alone a thick 2-ply head on my 8-inch tom, okay? So the drums in question, 10-inch rack, 14 floor, 20 bass drum, 13 snare. So what did I find? Well, some pretty cool results, actually. The first thing you notice with the Force 10 batters is the extra volume. No question about it. Same with the kick drum. But what you do get, of course, being a 2-ply head, is slightly more focused sound. But boy, do you get some volume. And it's noticeable over a standard 2-ply head. It's quite a jump in volume. And you might want to bear that in mind when you're miking the toms. This incidentally is recorded on a Zoom Q3 HD. There's no separate miking. So on the accompanying playing video at the end, I guess it doesn't do the sound justice, but hopefully you'll get an idea of what's going on. Out front, the bass drum is kind of really solid, low-end punch, as you might expect from a 2-ply head, but even more so. There's no dampening in my bass drum, just the SuperKick 10. The front head is a Force 2 resonant, which is a single-ply drum head with a built-in muffling gasket, the typical kind of head you get these days. And the bottoms or resonant side on the toms are just classic clears, Aquarian classic clear, again single-ply. But what you get is punch, you get power, and I had great fun kind of reliving the 1980s, really. I'm not saying that these are only for people playing 80s, but that was the time when I was really into the big, heavy-hitting players. And my favourite drummer of all time is a guy called Mel Gaynor from Simple Minds, so that should give you an idea. So I really kind of enjoyed reliving playing that, and hopefully you can see that a little bit from the accompanying video. So that brings me on, talking about heavy hitting, onto the triple threat snare head. Yeah, 3-ply, 3x7mm, 21mm together. Totally everything against that I would normally go for, but it's great! I love it! If you're playing jazz or playing with light sticks or just generally a light player, maybe it's not for you. And I must admit, I say ordinarily I wouldn't really go for it personally. But it's a terrific head, and I've really enjoyed slamming out those rim shots. You can probably tell when you see the video later. I really enjoyed it. And so if you want a real kind of solid head, great for rim shots in a rock setting, don't look any further. This is the baby. And I'll tell you what, it's also surprisingly sensitive. That I did pick up on. So, very much, you know, great heads. I do love them for what they are. I don't think I'd go on using them forever, but I'm going to continue having a bit of fun for a little while. But certainly, if you want punch, power, a little bit of extra volume coming back at you, then these are great heads to try. Yeah, so check them out, have fun, and see what you think. I'll see you next time.
Force 10, Force 10, Force 10. Ghost.